So let's talk about this tool for a minute. This is a Park Tool DAG2. This is a Deraileur Hanger alignment tool. This is used to align your derailleur hanger. At any rate, the reason this tool is kept behind the counter is because it loses parts and it gets broken fairly regularly. You'll notice that this is not the original part that came in the tool. Notice it's a little bent here. Still works good. Still works good. So it's made up of basically a big lever, a screw that screws into your rear derailleur hanger, this adjustable slide that's used as a gauge, and these two locking screws. Okay. The way this tool is used is it's going to screw into your rear derailleur hanger, and then we are going to use this gauge to determine if your derailleur hanger is parallel to the wheel. Caveats with that are, of course, that your wheel has to be true. Your wheel has to be straight in order to use it to straighten something else. If your wheel isn't straight, straighten your wheel first, and then straighten your derailleur hanger. So this is the way this is going to go down, and you're like, oh, that's a single speed, it doesn't have a derailleur. I'm like, yeah, I know, but it does have a derailleur hanger that's bent, so I can show you how to use the derailleur hanger alignment tool, so just bear with me. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to just go ahead and remove this gauge, set it aside for a second, and we're going to screw in this tool. It screws right into the derailleur hanger, right where the derailleur would screw in. Make sure this is good. And you're going to want to make sure this thing is all the way screwed in. It's really important. Let's see if I can show you this real quick without too much damage. This right here is important. It's important that there's not a gap right there, because if there's a gap right there, we're going to actually use this tool to bend this piece of metal. If there's a gap, it'll just destroy the threads instead of bending the metal. So, okay, a little adjustment here. All right, we'll back up a little bit. Okay, so now that you have this lever affixed, you're going to go ahead and throw on this part. And it points its indicator rod, call this long Allen key an indicator rod, points at the wheel. Now I'll show you this from a couple angles. So what you are trying to do is use the wheel to bend this derailleur hanger, this piece of metal, to be parallel to each other. Your shifting won't ever work properly unless this derailleur hanger is parallel to this wheel. So you'll see right now, if we adjust this and put it right up against that wheel, let's do it the other way. And it's important to note you will have to slide the thing back and forth while you spin it around the wheel, because obviously the derailleur hanger is not hung in the center of the wheel, it's hung below center of the wheel, so they don't have, the same axis. So right here, if it's up against the wheel, and we turn it over here, you'll notice it's several inches away from the wheel. I think it's time to change camera angle so you could see that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this indicator right up against that wheel. See how it's right there? Okay. And now, we're going to move the indicator up here. And you notice the end of that indicator is right here. This distance here shows that this metal piece is not parallel to the wheel. Because this is steel, this whole bike is steel, we can actually just bend it. But you want to bend it as little as possible, so we're going to bend it in little increments. We're going to just give it a little bend, a little tweak. Okay? And then we're going to check again. Now, you may have taken geometry at some point in your life, which is good. So you know that 3 points. It takes 3 points to determine a plane. And so I like to do kind of straight down, straight out, and over here. And but any 3 points can determine a plane, and that's what you want. You want it coplanar to the wheel. All right. See how much closer they are? Oh, very close. That still has ½ an inch. I hope you can see this thing. So we're just going to give it a little tweak. We're just going to be like, and you'll notice this whole bottom bracket bend. This whole derailleur hanger bends. And you can probably also see this angle that this tool is threaded all the way in there and there's no gap. It is completely flush against there. All right. And so we just check again. We adjust the gauge so it's 0. We're going to bring it over here. Oh, might have gone too far. Might have gone too far. I'm okay with it though. Gone too far before. Oh, it's pretty close. Give it a little bend. And just like truing wheels, you want to do this in little steps. You don't want to try and do the whole thing at the same time, because that's just not going to pan out for you. So, oh, and look, it looks pretty good right there. I'm going to go to the bottom. It looks pretty good right there. So, because it can touch the wheel at all 3 points, right there, and right there, you'll know that this derailleur hanger is parallel to or coplanar with the wheel, which is what you want. That means it's also parallel to all the rear cassette, and that's where you start. That's how you use this tool. Important thing to note, when you're taking it apart, make sure that the indicator stays attached to the tool. And make sure the slide assembly that holds the indicator, this assembly right here, remains attached to the tool. And turn the tool in as soon as you've finished with it. If it just sits around on a workbench, it's going to get lost, or a portion is going to get lost, or one of these screws is going to go missing, or you won't know where it is to turn it in, and that's a shame, because that means somebody else can't use it to make their bike work.